Hey everybody, just want to cover a couple things today before we get started with today's video. I want to send some shout outs. I've got a new patron and I wanted to drop a line and tell him thank you so much. Antoine Wilk, thank you for becoming a patron to the channel. And to remind everybody that are patrons to my channel, all my content now is available over on Patreon without ads. And it's uploaded direct now. Patreon lets us load our videos up and we can put it directly on the platform. So if you are a patron to the channel, you can watch everything over there as well. And to my YouTube members, ones that have been with me for the longest would be Mishlov Krelesha, Stein Seiler Odland. And in the last month, Skimming Death, Ray, Gary Paris, Josh Rojas, The Kenneth of Oz, DNA, Stephen Lawrence Mitchell, Nathan 0401, and Daniel Gomes. Thank you all so much for supporting my channel and for becoming members to the channel. You'll never know how much that's appreciated. Now, about a month ago, I switched over. I switched from Nabara because I was having issues with it. I switched over to Gecko Linux, and that has been 1 month. It's been 30 days, and I wanted to tell everybody that it was a great experience. Gecko pretty much went without any problems. I was able to record my videos, edit them, download all the applications I needed, and pretty much get my day-to-day things done. Now it's time to switch. I got to come up with a new daily driver. And believe it or not, I wanted to try to go back to a KDE desktop, but I figured out reading some of the comments in my channels that not everybody likes KDE. Some people don't think it's a good-looking desktop environment. Some people don't like the way it functions, and some people just don't like it, period. I don't know why, but that's the beauty of Linux, is the fact that whatever you like, you can pretty much find out there. And if you don't like something, you don't have to use it. You're not trapped like you are in a Windows or Mac environment. So I've made a decision on what my next daily driver is going to be. And in choosing my daily driver, I have used Fedora and Manjaro GNOME desktops in the past. But I wanted to use one that I thought out of the box was going to be easy for me to use. And I'm not going to be on it too long because I do have to tell you, I've got some big news coming to the channel. I'm trying to work partnerships right now with some open source hardware to bring you information on it. Things like the Marina phone, Tuxedo computers. I've got some things in the pipeline, and hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I'll be able to bring you a lot of content that covers some great open source alternatives. But what I've settled on is I'm going to give Garuda Gnome a shot. One of the things I hear most out of people about Garuda is they would love to try the KDE version of it, but they really don't like the way it looks. They don't like the icons. They don't like the backgrounds. They just don't like all the color. That's what I hear most of the time about it. Or it's bloated. Something along those lines. Well, when you go with Garuda GNOME, it doesn't have the icon set that you have on Dragonized, and it's a little bit more subdued. As a matter of fact, I've already downloaded it and installed it, so let's zip on over to the desktop. And as you can currently see, I'm booted up into the desktop. The only thing I have running in the background is OBS. Now, I was really impressed. Without OBS running, this distro idles between 700 and 800 megabytes of resource usage, which is, in my opinion, good for me. Some people want to be around 200 or 300s. I can deal with 700 or 800, especially for somebody that has seen what these people have to deal with Windows 11 just to be on. 3 to 4 gigabytes just to be on a desktop. That's ridiculous. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and let's click on the screen here. I've only downloaded one extension, which is the Dash to Dock, and I've got a lot of my applications already downloaded and ready to go. I still have Fire Dragon down here. I've got Firefox. I've got Files, OnlyOffice, Boxes, VirtualBox, OBS Studio, of course, is running. Kden Live to do my editing. Screenshot, GIMP, Inkscape, Terminal. Let's see what it's running with just OBS running in the background. HTOP. And with OBS running in the background, it's about 1.57 gigs of the 8 gigabytes I have on this machine. It's just my old IdeaPad. That's what I do most of my creating on. And a lot of people come up in my comments and go, "You're doing all of this and you've only got 8 gigabytes of RAM? Why?" The whole point of this channel is to show you You don't need something huge. You don't need something over-spec'd just to put Linux on it and create and do things. I run businesses. I create videos for my YouTube channel. Are they as perfect as somebody that's using, $5,000-$6,000 worth of hardware? No, but it works for me. And most of the viewers out there agree that they like the videos that I produce. And if you don't, please give me some suggestions in the comments below. I am open. I am completely open for criticism. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of the terminal. Now, one thing I do like is when you boot into it, you get the Garuda welcome screen just like you do on KDE. You've got your Garuda Assistant, your Garuda Gamer. Now, if you open the Garuda Assistant, let's open that up real quick. You've got a lot of tools here that you can use right out of the box. You've got your system update, refresh mirrors, key rings, remove orphan files, clear packages. Now, here's what I really like about this setup. Let's say you go in and you change some config files on an application and you make a mistake. We've all done it, especially if we're in Linux, we've done it. And you've got to get that app back, and you don't want to have to go through the pain of uninstalling, reinstalling, hoping the config files are not there anymore. Just come down here and pick the application. Pick it, or if you want to reset them all, just click all, hit the reset selected configs, and it wipes everything out and goes back to the default, and you're good to go. Now, you've also got BTRFS and Snapper, system components, settings, system specs, and other diagnostics you can use from here. I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. And then you've got Garuda Gamer. This is where you want to come if you want to set up all your gaming stuff. You've got your Steam, whether it be runtime or native, Heroic Games Launcher, Lutris, Bottles, Wine Tricks, Boxtron, Fast Game, SC Controller. What else you got down through here? VLC, Streamlink, Twitch, Graphic User Interface, Xbox Generic Controller. You can get all the drivers and everything for your Xbox. And then your games you can get here. And then, of course, you can get your emulators over here. If you're somebody like me, you like retro gaming, you probably got old Wii games around, or maybe GameCube, PlayStation 2. You can come over here and get all the emulators you need right here. And it goes all the way back to Atari. So that's really nice to have. Let's close out of that and close out of that. And then your settings manager, Garuda boot options, add and remove software. Let's go ahead and click on that, which is your PayMac. Now, before you use this, the first thing I would suggest, if you download Garuda GNOME and you want to put it on a machine, or you want to try it in a virtual box, you want to come up here, go to your preferences, of course. You're going to have to put your password in, hit enter, and it's going to bring up this screen. What you want to do is go to third party and enable AUR support. Now, AUR is going to be a lot more stable on Garuda than it is on something like Manjaro. Because with Garuda, you're using a newer kernel. Packages aren't held back like Manjaro does. So when you're using the AR, it's going to be a smoother operation. Now, if you are using Manjaro, you probably ran into problems when you downloaded an application from AUR, because those packages are held back and everything's back just a little bit. You might have some dependency issues there. Also, keep an eye on Manjaro too, because they've been having a lot of issues with their SSL certificates lately. They have problems and they'll send messages out saying, here's a way to bypass it, as opposed to just taking the 5 minutes it takes to update your security certificates. I don't know why Manjaro has such an issue with this. If you don't believe me, go look it up. It's consistent and it's a problem. Now, that's not bashing Manjaro. That's just speaking facts and speaking truth. And then you go over to General, and you can come down here and you've got downloads. You can adjust your parallel downloads, number of versions of each packages to keep, things like that, etc. I just freshly updated this, so there won't be any updates available. And the update went smooth, flawless, no issues at all. And I'm getting around in GNOME rather splendidly. And as you can see, I'm actually up to date. The system's up to date. And I do want to point out, with my most recent update, we now are on GNOME 43. Now, one of the things I like about GNOME 43 is a lot of the things that you need to access, you can access over here quickly. Airplane mode, your Wi-Fi, you got the little arrow out here, you're balanced. If you wanted to change the performance of your computer, you can go to Performance, or you can go to Power Saver right here with the click of a button without having to go into the settings. And then another thing right here, you've got your speaker right here. We can click on that. You can adjust this. Where do you want it? Speakers, headphones, digital output, sound settings. We can close back out of that. You can also do that with your microphone. You can use your internal microphone, digital input, but I'm using my external microphone right here. And night light, you can turn that on and off. And then of course you can switch from dark mode over to light mode, but I'm going to stay in dark mode. And then of course you can take a screenshot, access all settings from right here. Power's right here. If you wanted to take a screenshot, you just click on that, adjust it to where you want it, and then come down here, click, your screenshot has been taken. Now, I do want to say in the past, I've been relatively hard on GNOME and the desktop environment, but they are getting it together. It is a nice, smooth, and enjoyable desktop to work in. And I do believe multifunction-wise and multitasking-wise, it makes things rather easy. Now, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this, and we're going to look over here. You've got Partition Manager, Quick Access, and then Website, Private Bin, GitLab, Chaotic AUR, IRC, Twitter, Discord, Telegram, Forum. They really knock it out of the park with this little Garuda welcome. It makes things so easy. It really does. And what I really like, after you, let's see if it'll open up. Let me go ahead and show you what we got here. After you install it, you've got the Garuda Setup Assistant. You click OK, and what it'll do is, let me put my password in. It'll make sure that everything's up to date, so we will let it do what it needs to do right here real quick, because it doesn't want you installing any applications on top of an outdated or non-updated system. So let it update the mirrors and let it do its quick update, and I'll show you what I like about this. Okay, it's starting full system upgrade. There's nothing to do. Let's press enter to exit. And it's going to check for NVIDIA drivers. It gives you the Garuda Setup Assistant. Let me maximize this so you can see it. After install and you restart your PC, it automatically brings a pop-up to update your system. Once you update your system, it asks you, do you want to run the Garuda Setup Assistant? So you run it. When you get here, it gives you OS preferences. Do you want to install additional GNOME applications? Printer, scanner, Samba support, install additional wallpapers. Do you need pen testing software? Then you can go to input. It gives you different fonts over here. Software centers. Do you want App Image Launcher? Do you want Octopi, PayMac, Discover, GNOME software? And then kernels. Linux LTS failsafe option. Linux harden. You can install those. Office. It gives you an option to install LibreOffice, Joplin, OnlyOffice, WPS, Free, Yozo, Calligra, Scrooge. I mean, they give you all these. All you got to do is check mark them. And then your browsers, FireDragon, LibreWolf, Firefox, Chromium, Ungoogled Chromium, Vivaldi, email, communication, Telegram and Discord, internet, Qubit torrent for torrent downloads, audio. Do you want Strawberry Player, Lollipop, Audacious, Elisa, LMMS, video, Kdenlive, Drag and Shotcut, Pitavi, OpenShot, OBS. It gives you all of these options. So you go through here and check mark everything you want. GNOME boxes, VirtualBox, and other. Once you're done, you click OK. It installs everything. Now let me explain something to you. They have this available on the Dragonized version as well. I have never had an issue. Everything that you check mark and bring up to use, downloads, installs, up to date, and you don't have any problems, and it saves you so much time, because any Linux distro that I put in, the first thing I do is get it set up the way I want it, update it, and then spend time downloading all the applications I need. This takes some of that pain out. This takes and makes that job so much easier. So if you do download this and you do take a look at it and you've never used Garuda, check out the Garuda Setup Assistant. Now I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. Cancel. And it says you can restart the Setup Assistant at any time. Okay. And we will close out of that. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of the Garuda Welcome. I want to zip over real quick to Settings and go to the bottom. And we're going to go to About. And it lets you know Garuda, it's a rolling release 64-bit GNOME version 43 windowing system X11. X11 runs smoothly on GNOME 43. I haven't had any issues. I'm not going to go too deep into things up here. You do have your appearance settings right here. You can change from a dark to a light theme. And then, of course, all your backgrounds. And this is actually the background that comes out of the box, which I truly love. So I left it up there. And then notifications, multitasking. You got your regular Linux settings over here. So let's go ahead and open up our application launcher. and show you some of the things it comes with out of the box. For email, you got Geary, you got BTRF Assistant, Celluloid, Extension Manager, you got your GNOME utilities, which is disks, image viewers, and then tweaks. You can open up tweaks. And right here, okay, let's continue. Couple settings right here you can adjust. The spin when the laptop lid is closed, over amplification, appearance. It shows you the themes that you're using for all of these. And on your lock screen, you can change that picture if you want to. That's truly up to you. Fonts, you can adjust fonts in here. Keyboard and mouse. Startup apps. Right now, we don't need that. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that, and then the Garuda Welcome will pop up. Now, if you don't want Garuda Welcome to pop up anymore on restarts, all you got to do is click remove here, and then you can always go over here and type in Garuda Welcome, and it'll show right there, and you're good to go. And then your Garuda Assistant is already down here on your dock. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that and come back over here. Then your top bar, you can have weekday on your calendar, which I do, date, seconds, and then you can have week numbers on your calendar. Right here, you've got your calendar. If you wanted it to show the week numbers, you just click that on, and then it would include week numbers right here, 49, 48, 47, and so on. I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. Window title bars, double click to maximize. Middle click, title bar buttons. If you don't want those other buttons there, you can, of course, shut those off. And then placement, you can have them on the right or on the left. That is really up to you. And then your windows. Attach modal dialog, center new windows, click to focus. You've got a lot of different things you can do inside of tweaks. So let me close out of that. Open this back up. What else did we miss over here? Logs, archive manager, we don't need that. Garuda Gamer, we went over. Garuda settings, Garuda system maintenance, gestures, lollipop. And then you've got MPV player. I use celluloid, but MPV player lies underneath that, so I just leave it there. Micro, Octopi, of course. Now, if you haven't used Octopi, it's not hard. A lot of people prefer something like a Paymac, but with Octopi, it's a lot like Synaptic Package Manager. It's a type search install application. So if you come up here and you were looking for something like, I'm trying to think of something that I don't have installed. Let's see if Kate's available. And it's right here. You would just come over here and click. And you would click install, and it would mark it for install. And it would let you know, here are the different things that you can get with those. And once you have those picked out, you just click OK. And then you would click this green check mark. It would install Kate for you. So this is just another way to get applications and software installed on Garuda. Let me go ahead and close. Yes, I really want to quit. Come back over. And then you've got Wi-Fi hotspot, YAD, suspend hibernate sound recorder. So it comes with a few different applications out of the box. Most of what you see down here I've installed. But that, guys, is really just a quick look at GNOME 43 and Garuda together. I think it's a winning combination. Like I said earlier, I'm a KDE man. I love KDE, but GNOME is making it so much easier to multitask. It's got form and function. You can get in, get your work done. It stays out of your way. It's got the regular files manager. You know, you got your usual suspects over here. You got your home folders right here. It's just a nice operating system, and the desktop environment has made leaps and bounds in the last 3 releases. And I suggest if you're somebody that hasn't touched GNOME in the last 12 to 18 months, download it. Give it a run. It is really impressive. It makes things really easy to do. And in my honest opinion, I know you got your Fedoras out there and you've got your Ubuntus out there. This is the king of GNOME distributions. That's my personal opinion. What do you think about Garuda GNOME? Is it something you might download, throw on a USB, or put in a virtual machine and take for a test drive? Let me know in the comments below. Please do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. The more likes I get keeps me in YouTube's algorithm, which means the information you just saw in this video, if it was helpful to you, it can be helpful to somebody else. And subscribe. Doesn't cost anything. And if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we are producing, we are on 3 separate platforms, YouTube, Utreon, and Odyssey. And you can become members on all 3. On YouTube, it's only 99 cents. On Utreon, it's $2.99. And on Odyssey, it's $4. You can also buy us a cup of coffee, maybe go over to PayPal and throw us a donation, or go to Patreon and become a patron to the channel. All those links will be in the description below. As always, thank you so much for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video.